For me, I really, didn't like the way that people struggle at that point, and because I had to go through that. And when I went through that, it was really hard. And not to mention that everybody you go to, they blame you. It's like, did you go to hey, there's a lot of companies looking for electrical engineer. I'm like, can you give me one?
How do you go from graduating from college, becoming an engineer, a solid life choice, solid job, to going to a new city, entirely different city, and starting a nonprofit?
Welcome to Voices on the Wind. I don't want you to forget about our newsletter, which is at votw.substack.com, or you can go to 24sound.com. That's my company.
Yeah.
It's all one word. It's all spelled out, 24sound.com. Do I need to spell it for you? You don't need it. Nobody needs that. TWENTYFOURSOUND.com. And so the newsletter's there. All of the other links for our podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, you can find a YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, you can find the Apple Podcast channel or whatever you're into. We talked with Murad Aljalamdeh of Cheyenne Young Professionals, and a really good interview. Here we go.
That's a very beginning, like when I got my bachelor degree, like within the university, right? It was a great time, like as a college kid, right? And running around. But after graduating, I couldn't find any job. Okay. I sat almost for like a 6 month to year. And then even in that time, I was like looking heavily. Like everywhere. I wanted a job, right? And I couldn't find anywhere. And then all of a sudden I was driving, by the highway, and then seeing construction site. They were doing conveying water, and then they're just laying big, huge pipes, underground. And I went there. I was like, hey, I need a job. I'm engineer, I can work here. Yeah. And they took me to the project manager of that site, and I've met him with him and then interviewed me. And he was like, oh, look, I can give you a job, but it's not an engineering job. You just supervise people, check mark if somebody missing or somebody absent, if somebody coming, so that we can pay them. I was like, I don't mind. I just want a job.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. At some point, it's it doesn't need to be engineer. I just need work.
Right. I need work. Correct. So, yeah, it started from there, and a couple months later, an electrical engineer, that's the head of the electrical department, came by, and we started talking. And he noticed that I'm talking in depth in the electrical part of this project. And he was like, what is your background? I was like, I'm an electrical engineer. He's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm just having a job. He was like, nope, you're not gonna stay here. And then literally, he put me in his truck, and went to the headquarters of the project, and then he switched me to be one of, if his electrical engineer. And then start working as an engineer from there. So that was that's how it leads to things, right? So if you never started from some point, it won't start, right? Because this is what, to me, this is where I wanted to start something. It will lead to something bigger. It will lead to achieve my goals. After a few years working in companies and stuff like that, I found out that is a lot of fresh graduate engineers,
Okay.
They didn't know about how to get the right job or how to get the right career, right? And this is one of the things where I started my nonprofit, the first one. I was also, as a side part of volunteering, I was with the Engineering Association. That is one of the biggest thing also. It's to learn how to manage your time, correct? So how you be at work, till 5, and then after 5, you will find some of the events with the engineering association, right? And then you join it. There's like also clubs, right? How you join the club, how you lead the clubs. So that's where, like I start knowing lots of engineers
Okay.
and met lots of fresh graduate, right? And then when you sit with them, they were always complain like, hey, we couldn't find job. I'm like, I was in your shoe.
So your story was part of why you cared to help them? Is that
Yes,
what I'm hearing? Okay.
exactly. So, and then that's where I started a nonprofit, and then that's where I start like, going to places, and then like invite lots of engineers,
Okay.
and then teach them, not teach them, but just like put like give them some of the skills,
How old are you at this point?
at that point I was like 25, 26 years old.
All right. Okay.
So that was like quite like really great.
I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not that much older. Your English is not your native language. Am I
Right.
correct in that? Which is hard. But you take on a mentoring capacity, I would say. I don't know, maybe you'll say it differently. But you want to help those who are earlier in their career than you. Why? It's a big sacrifice. I mean, what was your heart behind that?
So my heart was behind it. It's because I wasn't that in that time, because I went through that struggle, and for me, I really, like didn't like the way that people struggle in that point, and because I had to go through that. And when I went through that, it was really hard. And not to mention that everybody you go to, they blame you. It's like, hey, did you go to like, hey, there's a lot of companies looking for electrical engineer. I'm like, can you give me one if there's a lot? And they blame you. And you don't want to find a job. You don't want to. So I feel how those fresh graduate gets really blamed from either friends, coworkers, like or like parents or whoever, they blame them. And then not to mention, while you are in college, there is something, everybody keep telling you is like, hey, you're an engineer. Don't take job below engineer, You know what I mean? So they give you that pride as an engineer, like, hey, you're an engineer, like, don't work anywhere else. Like, you have to be an engineer, like, just work an engineer. Like, that's also what makes graduate college, when they come out and if they find any job, they're like, oh, I'm an engineer. I don't want to take that. I'm like, no.
Interesting.
So that's one of the things I wanted to show the fresh graduate from my perspective, what I've been through, like how they can go through that, right? And how they can like learn more and how they can gain more skills. You know what I mean? So that was my goal, because I don't want anybody else. And not to mention, yes, there is lots of jobs out there, but it's unfortunate they need you like 100-year experience to be like in a job, right? Like, hey, I'm like, right? Like, I'm fresh graduate. Where do I get experience if I'm just graduated, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things like about like hiring. And if not that, they will hire you as internship, which is you didn't get much, like barely you pay for the gas back and forth, right? And then, like if the company likes you or, like, I don't know, I haven't been through like internship situation, but I've heard a lot, It's like after you've done internship, they will just let you go, or they won't hire you, or something like this. Even if you come back to them after graduating, they're like, hey, we don't have jobs, like, or we don't have projects.
Wow.
So yeah, that's one of the thing it makes me to like leads me to have that nonprofit to like educate the fresh graduate on how to find the right path and how to get yourself in a soft skills situation, and then as well as how to find whatever is booming in the industry.
Okay, so you're in Jordan. You started a nonprofit,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna guess. Did you that it went very well? Just knowing you.
It was a great thing, you know. That is like after a year, a person, you know, like reached out to me and calling and was like, "Hey, I was one of your student." I was like, "Okay," and he sent me tons of pictures of his shop that he opened in his
Oh,
own.
really?
Yes, he
Okay.
opened his own business to
Okay.
install solar panels for like for
Okay.
people. I was like, man, that is amazing, and he thanked me like a lot about it. I was like, man, I'm just like, don't thank me. You know, I was just like a person in your like in your way to open your eyes for getting, you know, like this thing and then making this business happening. So this is one of the greatest stories, you know, like it gives me even like chills. Is like amazing, you know, that you taught someone something and then they end up having a whole business, you know. So how great is that?
Yeah. Good
That-
for you.
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes. And then like moving here also, like talking about like Cheyenne being a professional, right? Like moving here, it's you know, like found that is, you know, like hard, like with the harsh weather here, right? We all can say this, right? No, nobody can like say it's not true. So like with the wind and everything, and then like it's hard to find, you know, like people and like friends or professionalism or something like this. And then this is where the idea came to. It was like, oh, look, let's start something.
What was it? What was it like for you? What did it feel like to move into a town where yeah, it's windy, but it's just another town that you don't know anybody.
So the problem again, like it's you know, like not having a friend with this great town, right? It's a very historical town, you know. I like it, I love it. And then the people here are so friendly, you know. And then like everywhere you go, they're like, "Hi, how you doing?" You know. And then like it's amazing how people are friendly here. True, but it was like hard because there's lots of professionals. Then I was like, well, it gotta be something to get people, you know, like professionals to come, right?
Why professionals?
Everything. Everything. So like every person, you know, every person is professional in their field.
Okay.
On what they do, right? And then that's also one of the things went to hike, right? And then a few friends there, like it was like they were stranger before the hike, right? And then while we hiking, we just kept talking, and then it was the same thing. I mean, what leads us to do the hike? First, we love nature, okay, and then second, we wanted to just like change the mood out of the house, right? But that third one was missing in our conversation. That's we're professionals.
You ended up pulling together a pretty good group of folks
Yes,
for an organization that didn't exist yet.
yes,
And even after it has now existed, you're continuing to grow the leadership team as well as the people coming
Right.
in. But can you just bring us through your process? The story of going from one person to a pretty good group of leadership
yes.
for an org that didn't exist last year.
Right. So this is back to if you're hungry, right? So if you're hungry or if you're like really hungry. So that is like one of the thing where I found at the start, at the beginning, when like start putting the headlines and the goals, and that
And
was
you're like, you just posted, you made a Facebook page, is that right?
so. Before that,
Okay.
I just like made an announcement into Meet group, right?
Okay.
I
Like
think
an online meet group?
yeah,
Okay.
right, was like online, and I was like looking for a volunteer
Okay.
to do like social media work.
Okay. So,
Right.
like, is this like a community connection thing, or is it? I'm just asking. So,
Yeah,
somebody
it's
else is thinking, how do I do what
right,
Murad did?
right. So like I was like, how exactly like how I need to build social media, right, of it. And then this is where I posted, like Cheyenne a professional is looking for a volunteer as like social media person.
Okay. Okay. So this is like an organization that doesn't exist. You haven't had a meeting, correct?
Yes.
And you're posting about an organization that doesn't exist yet, asking for volunteers to work with it. How did that feel? Was it like not a problem? Was it kind of uncomfortable because you're like, this doesn't even, is it real? It's real in your head?
So I mean, like, this is one of the challenges that I always like to take. It's like when you put the bigger goal in front of you, that's how you work your way up to it.
Okay.
So before even that, I looked, I looked online a lot. I digged everywhere
Okay.
to find something similar.
Research. Yes.
I did a lot of research.
You believe in it so much that you're willing to put out an ad. Like just in case the listener doesn't understand what that feels like,
Right.
I'm guessing you felt like you were crazy at some point in there.
Yes. even myself, like
Yeah.
when I posted that, I again, I didn't believe that is somebody gonna come in at all.
You're just like, I'm going to post this, but nothing's going to happen.
But in the meantime, I was willing to do it. Like even if not something, like if not somebody coming, I will be like either like knocking doors or going back in a hike and like getting more people to it. Like I gotta be something
Okay.
to make that name happen.
So even though you thought that wouldn't work, you had a drive
Yes.
to make it happen.
Yes.
Okay.
So and then like we got person Jamie, and then she filled out the form, and
Who is a marketing expert?
yes,
Yep.
and then I've met with her, and then she was amazed with the idea, right? And this is where we started everything on social media: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and X. Sorry, Instagram.
Okay, so one more question about this beginning stage. Hopefully just one. Why didn't you just, you're asking for Jamie. You found a marketing person, but you're a smart guy and you got a lot of drive and you know how to knock doors and you know how to post online. Why did you not just be like, I'm going to build this myself? And you start posting and you start knocking doors. Why did you bring people in first?
Because I believe, always like more hands will build bigger things, right? And then that is also, it is not like, again, I'm building a group. So if I'm going to do everything by myself, it won't work, right? And I'm of the person that is, I don't like one man show. I like to split, responsibilities, and I like to get more people into this to drive it. And this is what I keep telling, the team in the director meetings is like, hey, I might be not here tomorrow, and then you guys want to lead this. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make it as just Murad. As of right now, we are over 400 follower in our page, and we are over 50 membership formally, filled our membership. And then we have a full directors team, and we're still growing. We are also start getting sponsorship to like get our members into big conferences, So and then this is how we are trying like to build every younger professional, in this town.
I think my favorite story is how he goes from being an engineer. He's just like trying to find a job, just trying so hard. And there's a construction crew's like, you know what? We need a guy. He's like, you know what? All right, I'm chill with that. And then another engineer finds him, and then he becomes an engineer. Obviously not, I feel like that's kind of like, his skill shined through so much that he was seen. And then I feel like his young professionals was kind of the same thing, but the other way around. Like he was looking to find people with that skill that shined through. I thought that was kind of cool. Like it was kind of like a parallel, but like the other way around, Yeah. I don't know. When I was listening to his story, I just was like, "Huh, that's really cool."
That is a good flip.
Yeah.
Somebody saw him and helped him up, and then he sees others now and helps them move to the next space, gives them the advice or whatever they need.
Well, and he literally started a group for engineers, where he was like, "You're an engineer, but you can actually get a job doing something else, which will help you be an engineer."
Yeah, you filled in the gap. That's a really good parallel. I just appreciate how he saw the need and filled the need. He's not afraid to be a self-starter. As he's moved up in his career, which is a job, it's not an entrepreneurial endeavor, but he clearly is an entrepreneurial mind. And, why do you think he's moving up so much? So, Murad, really appreciate what you're doing for our city. And thank you for building Cheyenne Young Professionals and connecting around. If you are not a part of Cheyenne Young Professionals, here's a shout out. If you are a young professional, it is a very cool organization to be a part of. So go check them out and go build good things. Until then, my friends, happy sailing.
Hey.